This week's episode of The Totally Rad Show is brought to you by Nokia's new Booklet 3G.
Squarespace.
And GoDaddy.
On this edition of The Totally Rad Show, we're talking about Fourth Kind, The Box, Dragon Age Origins, and DJ Hero. And you know what? We go fly a kite.
Three rad buds in a war with the flood crash land with a thud in New Mombasa mud. They fire up their Scud missile targeting HUD. No, this one's a dud. They're done for. Oh crud! Through a shower of blood, they're saved by a stud wearing Master Chief studs. It's the actor Paul Rudd. At least that's how it would be if we could get Judd Apatow to play Blood Gulch on The Totally Rad Show.
Hey everybody, welcome to The Totally Rad Show, episode number 138. I'm Alex Albrecht.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Totally Rad Show's weekly dose of all things rad. We give ourselves hypnosis and try to commune with the aliens to tell us whether we should be reviewing The Fourth Kind or not. And the answer was yes, so we're going to be doing that on the show.
Yeah, lots of space movies, so we got us a space background.
I love the space background.
Juan Navarro, we have to thank you for sending that in. Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Very cool space. We got lots of cool stuff to talk about this show.
This is going to be a rich show. It's going to be like Rocky Road ice cream. Rich.
Have you guys been seeing my Twitter trends I've started?
Oh, you started that?
trends?
I started the hashtag yesterday of movies that make you hungry.
Yeah.
How's that catching on?
It caught on.
Did it?
Yeah, that's why I always would bring. I wouldn't bring it up a failure of mine. And
what was the movie that made you hungry?
Today, I did
there's
Empire Strikes
1,000.
Back, the breadsticks, and Tron Water.
Not like a hilarious Spanglish title.
No.
But today I started Film Food. Some like it Hot Pockets. Gods and Generals Chow's Chicken. Someone I'm following the trend.
Wait, what
someone
about
said,
Mystic Pizza?
I followed the trend. Someone wrote, play Misty for Meatloaf. And a fan of the show, Roy Turp, did Pon Yogurt.
Pon yogurt.
So you guys gotta throw down.
We gotta hop on Dan's hashtag
By the time
trends.
this airs, that hashtag will be completely over. But
By the time this
Anyway.
airs or now?
this week in movies, we're talking about two science fiction yarns.
Heyo.
The first one we're going to talk about is The Box. And this is the next film from director Richard Kelly, who slammed on the screen, or danced on the screen at the Sundance Film Festival with Donnie Darko, cult favorite Donnie Darko. Also a science fiction tale. So this flick, The Box, is based on a...
We're just gonna skip over Southland Tales, right?
He also did Southland Tales.
If you haven't seen our review of Southland Tales, do yourself a favor and check it out.
Yeah. Don't watch the movie, just watch the review.
Oh, yeah.
So it's based on a Richard Matheson short story. Richard Matheson, I can't even name, I mean, I Am Legend, he wrote the story that I Am Legend was based on, What Dreams May Come, Duel, the Spielberg's first film, and countless others, and a couple Twilight Zone episodes. One of them was Button, which The Box is based off of.
Based off.
So, and from what I know of both those stories, the film The Box definitely borrows from both the short and the Twilight Zone episode.
As well as lots of its own invention.
Yeah, so basically the first act of The Box is the short story.
Right.
And then the next 2/3 is Richard Kelly's adaptation. It stars Cameron Diaz and James Marsden as a young married couple who are approached by Frank Langella, this mysterious figure, disfigured figure, who gives them a box with a button in it, and gives them the proposition: if they push the button, they will make $1 million. And this is set in the 70s.
Yeah, so it's like...
So $1 million, and but if they push one, they'll get $1 million, but someone they do not know will die.
Cool, huh?
Yes. Jeff, you mentioned 76, set very distinctly amongst the Viking landing, and I know
Very
you're
heavily based on Richard Kelly's own family, own parents. His dad worked at NASA. His mom had a odd foot problem that was an unfortunate malpractice.
Right.
So there's a lot of stuff in the film that's based on his own life. I probably will alienate myself from a lot of our audience by saying I never liked Donnie Darko. And we are all very clear about how I felt about Southland Tales. So I was really hoping this would be the first Richard Kelly film that I would love. And I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it. I found it very interesting. The beginning and the end are fantastic. Unfortunately, there's a large chunk in the middle that is just Richard Kelly mumbo jumbo. We go on this wild tangent that I didn't get much out of. And I think, unfortunately, what happened is this was a really fantastic half-hour idea that was turned into a feature-length film, and it just couldn't support it. It's a delicious proposition, this premise that was set up, and he makes a wonderful Twilight Zone-esque ending. But unfortunately, the whole middle section isn't interested in what the premise, the ramifications of the premise. We don't ever find out, because she does push the button, we don't ever really explore what that means. And unfortunately, what we do get is this meandering, up its own butt sci-fi thing that eventually comes back around to something really cool, but...
Yeah, he's definitely a man that loves weird moving water. That man saw the abyss and fell in love. It's like all of his movies have that weird, like, flowy water.
He's got a lot of, I noticed in this film, he's got a lot of tropes. I mean, he also has a lot of this.
Yeah.
You know?
And a lot of, like,
concurrent thing in all his films.
People doing normal things in one person like this, and then boom, boom. I liked Donnie Darko a lot. I wouldn't say that I loved Donnie Darko because of sort of some of the things you said about this film, where it just kind of gets, I don't really know what's going on, but I like the feeling that it's giving me, you know? Obviously disliked Southland Tales, but I mean, Southland Tales was, you know, these are the two sort of whatever. Anyway, I like this movie more than I thought I would like it. However, I totally agree with you. It starts really well. It's got a great sort of slow burn kind of thing.
And you also grew up similar place, NASA.
Similar place.
Time. I mean,
well,
a little bit
no,
older
not really.
Than him.
Yeah, I mean, I was born in '76, so that was that. And my dad really didn't start working for the whole space stuff until I was 15.
Okay.
Other than that, exactly like
Exactly like that.
But there was a weird disfigured man.
So anyway, so it was really good. I definitely found myself enjoying it, and though the middle is a little bit like, wait, what library are they in? Why? It really does wrap up really nicely, and I think overall I enjoyed it, like I said, more than I thought I would enjoy it. Did I love it? Nah. But now I see the trailers and I was like, yeah, that was really exciting.
I actually was definitely a sincere fan of Donnie Darko. I love that movie more and more the more I watch it. And I think that this was like Donnie Darko, Southland Tales. In that it was very simple and suggestive, and then it started exploring too much of its own ideas, and I feel like the movie gets caught up in trying to, whereas a lot of science fiction and Twilight Zone stories are just a lot of questions and a twisty answer. And this, I feel like
a twist that brings up yet another question.
Right.
And
I feel like he really wanted to, like, and I felt like Southland Tales was like this as well. I was like, I'm going to give you answer. I'm going to keep showing you more and more, where more people are vague, I'm going to show it to you, but in a vague way.
Right.
And that cheapens it.
Yeah, it really doesn't satisfy. It's like a magician who tells you how he does his tricks.
Right.
or explains way too much about the trick. I like his style. I think that what's distinct about him is that I feel like he operates so much more on mood than shots. You know, like it's about the way the production design and the music, which by the way is done by the indie band Arcade Fire, their first ever film score, which I thought was extremely effective.
Hell yeah!
And it's like the way things look and the music do so much more storytelling than one shot to the next. I mean, and he's a competent designer of shots in his film, but I think that specifically is where he's really working on all cylinders. But
there's a little bit of Kubrick in some of the stuff that he does. You know what I mean?
Very still, and there's some symmetrical stuff. But I was disappointed.
I wish once that button is pressed, I want us to stick with those people and figure out what the ramifications are. Like the idea that they got money is completely abandoned. There's no. We just kind of wander off into this weird other place and then circle back around.
I kind of wish there was
more about them.
I think
like,
the whole
using
movie,
the money
you could have had a whole movie about the 24 hours and deciding what to do.
Right.
That would have said the same stuff.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have been up Richard Kelly's alley. I know that, but
alley. I didn't think he was going to say alley.
think he was going to say alley either.
Moving on. Another sci-fi yarn is causing much controversy upon its release, which is The Fourth Kind. So,
are you going to mention the controversy? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
The fourth kind is, I mean, with the success of Paranormal Activity, you're going to hear a lot of people saying, if you loved Paranormal Activity, go check out The Fourth Kind. It doesn't deal with ghosts, it deals with aliens in a similar way. And I must say, there are very few alien abduction films. You'd think there'd be more. I'm sure there's plenty of straight-to-video tales, but we have Close Encounters of the Third Kind and Fire in the Sky, from my memory.
Fire in the Sky effed me up when I was a kid and watched that in the theater.
Me too.
What? D.B. Sweeney.
Yeah. So, The Fourth Kind is a very unique movie in that it opens with an actress whose name I've clearly been mispronouncing my entire life. I've always thought her name was Mila Jovovich, but if you've seen the trailer, the movie opens just that way, where the actress Mila Jovovich, I guess, walks towards camera and says, "What you're about to see is based on true happenings."
She introduces herself. She says, "I'm the actress."
Right, I was gonna say, and Mila Jovovich, I'm portraying real Dr. Abigail Tyler, and goes on and on about what they're setting out to do here and portraying the.
And that they're going to see some scenes that are recreations
and they're
of
using real
videotapes
archival footage interspersed with their recreations. And the movie
that's what they're
starts
saying.
Right, and the movie starts to happen, and on the left side of the screen you see archival footage. And on the right side of the screen, you see the reenactments, and we're constantly seeing the names of the actors and the alias who they're portraying.
Yeah, it's got the longest credit sequence in the history of film.
Yeah, right.
So the whole movie sort of plays with this split screen thing, so you're seeing sort of the real archival footage, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and
Spoiler.
Reenactments. No.
There's nothing spoiling about that.
Nothing spoiler about that. Alex, what did you think of The Fourth Kind? I'm sorry. And basically, the premise is that in this town, Nome, Alaska, there are more missing people than anywhere else in the world, and several people are claiming this is because of alien abductions, and this psychologist is working with patients that feel that they've been abducted and blah-de-de-blue. So, what do you think?
I think I know what Dan thinks.
Yeah.
Based on blah-de-de-blue.
Let me just say this. There were three moments in this movie that made me wish that this movie had none of this fake bullshit. This is all found footage, and then the worst makeup job you've ever seen on a woman. The actress who plays the real Abigail. I mean, it was like. It started and you're like, oh, okay, interesting. And then as soon as you see the first, and the poor director, the director is interviewing, like, come on, M. Night Shyamalan, get out of your film. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? It was so cheesy. It just felt fake. And they just kept slamming it down your throat of, this is real. And it's like, if you don't sell that it's real, and you keep hammering it over somebody's head that it's real, you can't enjoy the movie. I couldn't enjoy any bit of the movie because I'm constantly going, stop trying to convince me that this clearly produced crap is real and that's the only scary part. Then there are 3 moments in this movie that genuinely goosebumps. Oh my God, I wanted them to get rid of all this bullshit. And I don't know if it was supposed to be this way or they went, wow, Paranormal Activity is great. Let's just jam this BS part down. But I wanted to see the movie that wasn't that because it was so freaking creepy at times. I mean, genuinely like, what? Lights on at home by myself, creepy. You know what I mean? But most of it just...
Yeah, you know, we live in the YouTube generation where people... I think it was a noble attempt. And it was a really novel idea where they're going to set out to scare people in a new way by doing everything in their power to convince them that this is actually real. This is like something you would see on YouTube. This is... Yeah. And it's a really interesting concept. Unfortunately... You're absolutely right. It falls completely flat on its face because it feels like horseshit the whole time. And it's hard not to compare this to Paranormal Activity, which achieved a verisimilitude that this, with just 2 actors and a camera, that this movie wishes it could achieve. You know, there is... At no point did I ever buy all that stuff, even though they keep reinforcing it, just like you, Alex. And I walked out of this movie feeling genuinely disturbed.
Yeah!
It's a disturbing, I kind of felt icky the whole rest of the day. But that had nothing to, that was despite all of this stuff, which again, I thought was a clever idea and I wish could have worked.
Yeah.
But all it served to do was to make all of the actor moments, all the actual Mila Jovovich, however you want to pronounce it, moments seem even less real because now it's just a reenactment like you see on bad TV shows.
Yeah.
I actually feel like if they had done it like a Discovery Channel thing, where it's not even trying to be good at, it like feels like real reenactment, like then it would, like...
Yeah, you know what, I agree with you. I was thinking when I was watching it that I'm more scared at old Unsolved Mysteries episodes.
Yeah,
Those would scare the crap out of me, and it would just be like a blurry photo of a dude, and I'd be like, oh no,
Robin, stop it!
Stop.
Yes, I think you have to have no sense of human behavior and interaction to buy for 1 second that archival footage is real.
Yeah, the guy accidentally kicked the lamp.
And
it was like,
the idea that if this were real, just buying into the fiction of this, that you're honoring these families who we see some vile human behavior in this movie. That would be how you would use that footage of what happened to that family.
To honor their memory.
To honor their memory. I mean, like,
that part
disgusting.
That part was really disturbing. The police video.
Yeah.
But
really
it was so like you were saying, I think it's incredibly creative, and he does some very interesting things and cool things. But that split screen that in a very dramatic moment is going back on this and then up here and then that. I mean, that's like scoring your movie like they did in the 30s, where like, you know, like so manipulative.
What movie is that?
You know, like
I get it.
You know, like you know, right? Oh, you're talking like.
Oh, Charlie Chaplin's a shankar.
Hello, my honey. Hello. Anyway, so
well, here's the thing, and this is a big difference I think with Paranormal Activity and this movie is, one, I never bought for a second that Paranormal Activity was real. But they don't drive it home so much that you allow yourself to go, if this was real, this is what it would look like.
And they do a great job of
and
that.
the difference between them two is Paranormal Activity and Blair Witch Project, no one says, this is archival footage. This is that, and people suddenly got in the zeitgeist.
At the beginning of Paranormal Activity does say this video was but it's not. No, I know. It's not nearly as, which is all that matters.
It earned that. It didn't throw that in your face.
Exactly.
But I want to say too, though, that I looked up all the filmmakers of this movie, and
they're liars.
No, a lot of them come from the straight-to-video backgrounds, and I will say, The production design and the
Yeah.
cinematography, just the photography, not the shooting was
the
a
real
little
movie
bit
part.
not so great, but like that frickin' like these Steadicam wide angle, like yeah, so manipulative, but was actually spectacular, and I was pretty impressed with these guys that are you know should be getting stronger work, I think, technically.
Cool.
There you go.
All right, Danny. So let us know what it is that you forced us to buy.
What happened was, all of our birthdays, all of your guys' birthdays happened all at once, and anticipating someone needing a birthday gift, I went ahead and bought a TIE Fighter kite.
These are from ThinkGeek.
From
who do a lot of really cool
ThinkGeek.com.
stuff.
I've never once my entire life, there's a pastime everyone has, there's that memory you child, you know, in the flashback at the end of Diving Bell and the Butterfly, I'm sure he was, or My Life, right?
Yeah,
He's
running with
flying
a
a kite, yeah.
in the middle of a
I've
field.
never done that. So
Dan becomes a boy.
That's right.
So here it is, the Fallen. I bought the Millennium. Oh, look what I just popped out. Just Harrison Ford just popped out of mine. See, I think this is gonna be.
Ooh, and I like this
Dude,
package.
see, look how big this thing
Look
is.
at- it lets you know what it's gonna be.
Oh, wow.
At the top, in the ball. Look at my top ball.
Wingspan 3 feet.
Yeah,
Look at my
dude,
top
bro, look
ball,
at this.
y'all.
I got flames coming out of my X-Wing.
Is there like a build time?
No, there's no build, dude. It unfolds. I think it just unfolds.
Oh, I think it just unfolds.
Dude.
Oh.
No building, it's just flying. Well, no, there's poles in
Well,
there.
let's see what happens when you.
Oh my god, you have to blow air into it?
Oh my
There's
god.
building. There's building.
Well, there's start building and let's see how much building. Let's see how complicated the directions are. So you wanna fly the Falcon?
3 steps, dude. There's 3 steps. Oh, there's a lot more steps than 3. 13 steps. Slide the pre-installed Britney spars onto the circular body. Ooh, doggies.
I'm excited that mine has Luke. I mean, I know yours has Han,
Has Han.
so that's cool. Come on out, X-Wing. Time to play. Woo! Oh, mine's a little more complicated, damn it.
Oh god, guys, this is like my worst nightmare.
You mean Legos again?
Yeah, this is why I didn't fly a kite. When do I look at the figures? Is that figure 1? When do I do that? I guess number 1, okay.
Look at the V connector.
Insert 2
Look at the
into
cockpit
the middle of the
support
wing.
and
Figure
end of cockpit support into
Oh
V
my
connector.
God.
What would a cockpit support look like? Quantity 1. Okay.
But what is this picture? This picture doesn't represent any of what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay. Nope. Nope. Oh, okay. Okay. Mine's starting to get something.
Shakalak.
Boom. Hello! Center wing spar. Winged. What do you think these guys are?
Locate the small vertical spar.
Is this some sort of kite tool?
Insert. X-wing it. Don't rip anything.
No, I'm definitely missing a piece.
Well, I mean, what's it called? And then look at where it wants
Small
you to.
vertical spar.
Right. Look at where it wants
No,
you to.
I've already checked that out, and it does not.
I'm missing like tons of pieces now, it's looking like. Any ideas on the black sleeve pocket in rear of body?
What is this?
Excited for you.
Why is it near my stuff?
I'm sure that's part of your thing, dude.
That's not what I need.
Unless it's part of Dan's, because he's very.
Front
messy.
sides of the cockpit.
I'm done, guys.
Typical Alex.
Yeah.
Everything's easy for
See
Alex.
Figs 4, I see. Awesome. This is going to happen.
TIE fighter.
I hate him.
I know.
Oh, dude! And it looks like a lightsaber. Come on.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Amazing.
Hello.
Yeah. All right.
Careful.
Very vital. Piece.
Eric Vital.
Missing.
So I guess I'm just gonna have one wing sort of floppy, unfortunately.
That's the bad boy.
Dude, epic.
Epic. That's awesome, man. That's freaking Millennium Falcon.
Dude, you have a parachute. Well, did you read about it?
Is it a parachute or maybe it's a hat?
Like this.
It's a little sad looking.
I know. I don't know.
It's because you gotta fly it. The wind makes it better.
I don't know how to fix the sadness.
Go look at
Are the
Dan's.
tails cool looking, or are they necessary for flight?
Cool looking.
Okay, because I feel like one, I can only attach one, so it'll be lopsided.
So the dishes are done, man.
These are impressive pieces of engineering.
I agree.
Now, will they
Mine
fly?
also.
I don't know if they'll fly. This is a very mild day here in Southern California, so there might be a lot of running.
And we're in a street.
Yeah, there's-
isn't it?
We're in a street,
This isn't
but
ideal.
this is,
Trees are the natural enemies of kites.
which is why we're starting
Actually,
this way and running.
scissors are the natural enemies of kites.
Ready?
Ready?
Yeah.
Row, shame, row.
Dan goes first.
All right, Dan.
What did you say?
I don't
Down
know
the
what I'm doing
street.
now. I've never flown a kite. No idea what I do.
Dan, you run,
You don't do
turn, and
much.
run.
I just run. Do I let this unspool as I
Yeah.
run?
I mean, just.
You run, you
and
run,
then
you
I'm
run,
gonna
and he
let
lets
go,
it off like a
as
bird.
you're running,
Like
it's gonna lift
like a
off.
free bird.
Do I like book it?
Don't
or just
do-
sort of like,
You'll figure it out.
right.
Just whatever you have to do to keep this up. So hold it tight now. Let it catch as you run backwards, and then let it out. But
Amazing.
You just need to moderate the amount of out that you do in order to keep it up in the air.
I predict train wreck. I'm not running with you.
Yeah, and just watch the kite. It's all about getting the kite.
We
in the
all
air.
have to run.
Ready?
You have to run too, Alex.
I'm gonna run for a little bit and then drop the top.
Go!
Go, Dan! Go, Dan! Faster! Faster, Dan!
Oh, it's happening!
Run, Dan! Run! Be free, TIE Fighter! Be free! Yes, Dan! Now run back to us! Run back this way, Dan! Yeah, but wait, don't drag it so much.
I don't think that's how you do it.
It's the only way to do it. I mean, with no wind, that's the way you get a kite up in the air.
No, let me help you.
I love seeing Dan run.
Dan will just run back and forth between you and me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
Jesus. Let it go a little bit. Let it go out a little bit. Okay, go.
Go, Dan. Should not have thrown it.
I thought maybe I'd try that. There's just no wind at all.
I know.
Is the problem.
in 5, 4, 3.
Now run with me. Wait, let me catch up. Okay. He actually crashed and my pants came off.
Well, that happened. Not happening. It's something.
Like a dead bird on a string.
The curse of living in beautiful weather. Is it happening?
Yeah, 3, 2, 1,
Run with me, run
go.
with me. I didn't want to kill Mike, so I just dropped everything.
Oh my God. Oh my God. How is it that the TIE Fighter was the best one?
I don't know, man. No, I'm not ready.
Just turn and sprint. Oh, it's going. Oh, that's going. Oh my God, it crash landed on Dagobah. Amazing. Honestly, even if I just hang this in my office, which I may or may not do, I want to say worth $50, but I just don't know.
Wind! There's wind!
We got one shot at this. Loosen it up, juice it up, juice it up. Ready? Yeah, go.
Go, run! 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 Go,
Keep running, why are you stopping? Wait.
You're letting
wait.
it unspool.
Okay, go.
You can't let it unspool.
Go, Dan, go!
Oh, it's
Go,
amazing!
Dan.
Oh. It's bunny hopping.
Amazing, Dan.
$150 we spent on these. All told.
That's $150 of fun, my friends.
It's $150 of fun.
We will return
Of the Jedi.
And
We have to come back. Once there's wind, we'll come back. We're gonna see how these puppies sail. Cause look at them, they want to sail.
They do,
You can
they
see
wanna
it. Look
fly.
at that. Look at the fluttering of the wings.
They want to be free.
Look at that.
where's the happening when you need it?
Heyo!
Hey, death winds.
Awesome.
We decided to say F you, Mother Nature.
And screw you, wind.
and we're gonna try to kite fly in my convertible. So we'll be right back.
We're outsmarting it. Outsmarting.
Reload.
The first game we're talking about in video games this week is Dragon Age Origins from BioWare.
Just a little game, just a little
tiny role-playing game.
Xbox Live downloadable game.
From BioWare. BioWare, of course, the company that has really carved out a large section of the role-playing history. They are the guys who did the Baldur's Gate series back in the early days of, not early, I guess it was the mid-90s, PC game, and Neverwinter Nights. And then they kind of transitioned to doing more console stuff with Knights of the Old Republic and Jade Empire. And then, of course, a couple years ago, we had Mass Effect. And we'll be having Mass Effect 2 coming this next year.
And haven't all those games you mentioned like won award? Like they're all like award-winning.
They're all the cream of the crop of the role-playing genre. Big, deep games, and BioWare has always put a huge emphasis on story in games. Such is the case with Dragon Age Origins. Dragon Age Origins allows you to start. It's a classic role-playing game in the sense of very Tolkien-esque
fantasy.
Dungeons and Dragons. Very Tolkien. I mean, there's elves and
orcs
dwarves
and
ents even.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
So you get to start with one of, I think, 6 different origin stories. So literally, every person's playthrough of this game is going to be slightly different because you start with a kind of a prequel section of the game where you have a very specific origin based on your race and class that you choose at the beginning. And that character that you're role-playing interacts with everyone in the game in a completely different way from someone else's origin story.
You walked in while I was playing a little bit of my beginnings and were sort of taken aback at how different the story was. Yeah.
So completely voice acted through the entire game is voice acted. It is it's a very classic role-playing game. So I don't need to talk too much more about it. Alex, what did you think of your playtime with it?
You know, I really enjoyed my playtime with this game, and Dan mentioned when we were reviewing Borderlands that Borderlands may have caused a lot of things to be different in our reviews going forward, and I think he's right because I could really, because of the experience I had with Borderlands, for some reason it allowed me to get really into Dragon Age, whereas most RPGs, like I tried, Oblivion on the 360, and it's really hard to get into those types of games. So I really enjoyed it. I think this is an amazing RPG. I think if you're an RPG fan, it is a must try. It's not even an option. You know what I mean? My issues were thusly, because I'll just talk about my issues because it's a great game. It's a
Can you say all of them in Shakespearean English for me?
Yes. Thy load screens destroyeth my soul. No, really, my big problem was, one, there was way too many load screens. For a game that, we had just played Borderlands, which really felt like this giant world, whereas even though within that, you had to go through these like transporters and be teleported to different areas, boy, I got really disappointed about a third, maybe a fourth of the way through my playtime with this game. All of a sudden, it went to this sort of GBA, Game Boy Advanced world map where I burned a little line and then there was an X and I had to fight them things. And I went, really? You're not going to let me explore this giant world where I can walk from town to town and people can jump me?
Right.
I have to be in this weird, totally brought out overmap, which really took me out of the game. And I was really disappointed by that at that point because I felt so immersed in, and the way that they handle the origin stories is so immersive that you really feel like I'm going to these places, like I'm in it, and then it all of a sudden becomes this very stale, up here. Oh, I guess I should go here, and then see if maybe that's where I'm supposed to go. And I would
No,
just
they
sort
did the
of burn.
same thing in Mass Effect, but it was a little bit more disguised because you're
Because it was
in a
space
spaceship.
travel, and
yeah.
it makes perfect sense in Mass Effect. It never took you out, but to go to that old style map with squares, I mean, it just felt so, it just felt very
small.
just small for a game that is so big, and I really love
claustrophobic.
it. Claustrophobic, exactly.
And
So I say,
Daniel, were
great
you,
game, great
Did you
game.
have claustrophobia with this game, or?
A little bit. I know what you're saying. I put 20 hours into this game, and I'm 20% through it.
Yeah.
And that's game hours, not life hours. And I think that.
It's like dog years.
Yeah.
Well, it's because those. Well, I'll tell you, there's some difficult points, and those difficult battles that I had to play over and over and over again.
Yes.
And those load screens are like, and when I've just Twittered and there's nothing else happening on Twitter, like it's completely mind-numbing.
Maybe that's why Xbox Live is integrating Twitter into it.
Just hit the center button while you're loading.
It makes a really mostly well-made game unpleasant to play. But the dialogue is spectacular, amazing, really funny, and it's like they really clocked into the way to ground, humanize these kind of characters that feel very esoteric. Even in the Tolkien universe, even in Lord of the Rings, I feel very alienated from the right.
Very presentational.
Yeah, exactly, and broad. And having a grounded sense of humor makes me fall in love with these people. Especially there's a guy, Zev or something else that's like Inigo Montoya, basically, and he's awesome. And
Wait till you see what happens with him.
it's such a fun story to play. I mean, even just. Not the battle sequences, but the dialogue battles where I'm trying to get what I want through really conversing and what Mass Effect.
As dramatic, a tension-filled moment as any fight are some of the discussions you get into.
And it's really behavioral. It's really like, how do I feel about this? And I want to really make sure I make the right decision. Which leads me to say that just like Mass Effect and Grand Theft Auto 4, there were so many, and probably more in this game, more points in this game where the controller was down and I'm like, what do I do? I don't know.
Yeah.
What do I do? But I have to say that the graphics were terrible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. And that could have been the splendor and the joy of playing this game. And I don't understand
and
how that
it's
could have
shocking
happened.
from the same company that brought us Mass Effect.
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a lot to say about this game. These role-playing games are my jam. I put 100 hours into Oblivion, and it's in my top 5 favorite games. I grew up playing the Ultimas and the Wizardries and the Might and Magics of the world. I love this kind of game. We saw this game a lot on its way to being released at various events, and I was always very underwhelmed by it. The first few hours I played of this game, all I had were complaints. I think, like you said, it is a crime that this game looks so crappy because
Now, we
part
also
of the joy.
are playing on the Xbox 360,
We are.
and there is supposedly
PC version.
big difference between the PC version and the 360.
That's a good point.
But-
We're playing on the 360, but we also played Mass Effect on the 360.
No,
and I played
dude.
Oblivion on the 360, and when
Yeah.
I played Oblivion, it was one of the best-looking games that had ever come out at its time. And part of the joy of experiencing these incredible fantasy worlds is seeing how great they look
Yep. Oh,
and sightseeing. And when you're just getting these drab, low-res textures that are just grays and browns, it's really a shame.
And people's faces.
Yeah.
Secondly, the fight mechanic, the combat engine, it's the same one they used in Mass Effect. Heavily modified, of course, but I think it works even less well here because there's so much more melee combat. And that shows the flaws of this. There's just too much going on at any one given time. And the AI of your characters, they just get themselves killed all the time, and I have to babysit them so they don't. Now, this game adds this huge tactics system, which allows you to have conditions that tell your AI characters to do certain things at certain times, but you have to unlock them by putting role-playing points into that system. So it's like I have to earn the right to improve the AI of my characters, which is really crazy to me. So all those things led me to a really bad first impression. Then I put about 25 hours into it, and I had to pass off the game to one of you guys. And I realized I was fiending for this game. All I could do was think about it. So I went out and bought myself another copy. I finished the main quest last night. My save game was 45 hours. And I can tell you, it is one of the most rich, engrossing role-playing experiences I have ever had. And it's so unfortunate that it looks so crappy and has such a crappy combat system, because what's so great about this game is the story. And BioWare, they put such a huge emphasis on story, and they do such an incredible job. Like you were saying, every major moment in this game is shades of gray.
Yeah.
Every character.
Every situation you get into, the grand story is epic, and you're doing really, really cool interesting things. But you are forced to make so many great moral decisions. And now, Mass Effect had this Paragon, and I can't remember what the
bad guy was or whatever.
Yeah, it was a good versus evil, like KOTOR did. This good versus evil thing. But this game abandons that idea and just puts you in situations where there's really good things about going both ways, and there's really negative things about going both ways, and you have to make a decision. And those decisions have ramifications throughout the entire rest of the story.
It's like The Shield.
Like The Shield, best show ever.
Amazing.
You know, and the characters, I fell in love with the cast of characters. It really sucks that you can only have a 4-member party, because there's so many incredible characters, and they're talking throughout when you're playing, and you interact with them, and this game is so deep.
What did you
and so
think of
broad.
the claustrophobicness of the world map versus like Oblivion, where you can just, I can run if I want to.
No,
and
I
have
agree
that
with you. It
experience.
feels small.
If the graphics were amazing, I would have said, oh yeah, they gotta load all those awesome graphics.
Right, exactly.
Let me sum up what you're saying.
It's a great
First,
game.
I'm surprised, as of just now scratching the surface of George R. R. Martin, I'm surprised you haven't referenced him in this, because it feels more like him than, story-wise, much more like him than Tolkien.
Yeah, I mean,
The
it's much
aesthetic is
more
Tolkien.
political.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the idea that, because I totally agree with you on the combat system in this game, which may be a very different experience in a PC, but the idea that I included characters in my party that I knew were going to handicap me.
But you just wanted to be around them.
I wanted to experience their story, says everything about this game.
Yeah, it's a phenomenal achievement.
Yeah.
We have to move on to our second game, which is DJ Hero, from the people that brought you Guitar Hero. Why not give us the experience of being a DJ?
What?
Yes. I think that if you are a DJ, you definitely need a new plastic instrument to go along with that. So the people of DJ Hero have given us the scratch pad. It's a turntable, which most people call it, instead of scratch pad. Turntable, it's got sliders. It's actually very well made, in my opinion, peripheral. Wireless, but also, which is key, but also configurable, right hand, left hand. You can take it apart and rearrange stuff. Feels very sturdy. I really enjoyed the peripheral quite a bit. DJ Hero, it changes up the Guitar Hero formula in a number of ways. Not only are you playing mixes, which means you have two different well-known songs that are mixed together, so the game has a broad base of songs, and some of those songs are reused in different mixes. So it's like 90 some odd songs and 60 mixes. So you'll hear the same songs over and over a little bit, but it's that club music. Dan, DJ Hero. Are you in the Mickey mix or what?
Well, I am a huge fan of, I don't know if you want to say this culture, but I grew up,
I'll say that.
One of my favorite movies, there was a year of my life where one of my favorite movies ever was a movie called Juice. It was a Boys in the Hood clone starring Tupac. And who, before he was, huge.
Like when he was just one buck.
Yeah, and I love RJD2 is one of my favorite musicians, and I love this kind of music, possibly more so than a lot of the music that's on the Guitar Hero.
The classic rock stuff.
Yeah, but I'm not saying these mashups, but just like DJ-ish music, instrumental hip hop. So I was very excited to play this, and I even did a little fake, documentary commercial featuring a DJ, and I was this close to buying an actual turntable when I got to know him. And
Because you like to collect dust in your house?
Exactly. So, I'll tell you guys my Bob Ross situation later. I bought a paint set.
How's your paintings?
Yeah, still moist.
Are you a paint hero?
So anyway.
Did you enjoy the game?
The problem is I found it so difficult to just I didn't have a table to set this thing on.
Oh, that's necessary.
That may have made or broken it, but it being in any other video games position, my lap, it kept on moving, and
Why didn't you
put
it on your coffee table?
I did put it on my coffee, but that didn't help the situation either. I mean, I needed to stand and have it on a sturdy table.
You needed to perform.
I needed to perform.
The collector's edition of this game comes with a stand.
I should have got that because the things that it asks you to do, I just couldn't. I got fatigued so quickly in the scratching and the switching. Like one side I was okay doing, but because of the situation I was in, I couldn't do it.
How about you?
So. But I think it's a good, well-made portrayal of the scenario, and you do cool things.
Yeah, I think Dan nailed it with that last statement. None of the other stuff applies, but because I think it's a really good portrayal of that kind of genre of music. I personally don't love that genre of music, so for me it was like, I like that genre of music, but I don't like it enough to want to make it.
Okay.
So
it's just not the game for you.
It's just not the game for me. That said, there were a lot of technical stuff that was really enjoyable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought the scratching was very enjoyable. I thought the sort of fading over and over and back. There was a difficulty level that was definitely there.
But the one thing they did that I think was really smart is there's never a fail. You don't fail.
Yes.
You can get, with Guitar Hero, you would earn stars to unlock stuff, but you can never finish the song and get less than 3 stars, which always didn't really make sense to me.
Right.
This game, you'll finish the song no matter what, but you may earn 0 stars.
Right, exactly. So there was a lot of good in this game, and I think if you have any interest in this sort of genre of the mix club, classic music mixed with a hip-hop beat, then play it. I mean, it's fun, but for me, it wasn't worth the peripheral.
One more thing, just because I said a lot of BS in my review there, is
that's a damn review.
I expected it to be tapping buttons to a beat, like Tap Tap Revolution. I thought it was gonna be like beat tapping.
Right.
But I think that the joystick, the pad, it is scratching. It is, and
but there is
turning
tapping to the beat as
fading
well,
and all that stuff. A little bit of that. I thought it was gonna be much more of that. So to their credit, I think they really did utilize what is already there.
Definitely.
I love this game. Wow. I love it. It's a joy to me. Maybe it's because I love this kind of music, but I was bopping I was just having a blast.
Clearly,
playing
the
this
culture
music.
has not seeped into you,
Yeah.
Mr. Boppin'.
I was bopping like the kids do. I
was bopping and scratching and bopping.
It was funky fly. Honestly, great music, doing stuff that is completely different than what you do in Guitar Hero. Now, I have no experience with a turntable, so for me, it basically became just a tap your head and rub your tummy.
Yeah.
It's just move knobs, right? It has it doesn't feel like I'm playing an instrument like it does for guitar or drums in those games. But that's okay. I still had a blast.
It feels like you're making music.
You are having an effect on the music. When you fade over to the side, it'll come up and you'll hear the song he's about to say a bad word, and then it forces you to fade it out, and it's fun. It's a fun game, and I thought it was so clever. Some of the ways they incorporate the controller and the way they really flipped the Guitar Hero model on its head, and there's just 3 tracks, and the scratching is really fun. I love this game.
Cool.
And I think it's really fun.
Coolio.
All right.
All right, everybody. Before we get to the email, we do want to thank our sponsors, Jeffrey.
You've heard me talk on the show before about Squarespace. Squarespace is the easiest way to host, create, manage your website.
Correctly.
My website, jeffcanada.com, maybe you've heard about it, is hosted there. All of ours are.
Correct.
The totallyradshow.com, a Squarespace site. But I have something even better to tell you about this week, and that is Squarespace is just releasing their iPhone application.
Oh, they released it.
It's
Dude, amazing.
awesome.
Yeah, no, I saw it
You
like
can
4 months
manage-
ago. It was awesome.
You can manage your website on it. You can, I can't wait to get it because it'll allow me, those times when I'm like, I have half an hour between now and when I need to be at this thing, but I'm already there. What can I do? I can play a game on my iPhone, or I can just update my website.
That's cool.
You can take pictures on your phone and load them directly onto your site.
Wow.
You can manage multiple accounts with the application. It's
I'm excited.
friggin' awesome, and it's just another example of how Squarespace is making hosting, using, operating your own website extraordinarily easy.
Amazing.
So you should go to squarespace.com and start your thing today and use our promo code TRS. It'll get you 10% off the lifetime of your order.
Amazing. So you guys may know Nokia,
I do.
or Nokia. They are, let's just say, pioneers in the concept of mobility.
Pioneers that didn't die of dysentery.
Correct. They made it all the way to
The
their
Oregon
Trail. Well, these pioneers of mobility are doing
Where did
it
he go? Where did Alex go? Oh, there
once
he is.
again with this, which is the Nokia Booklet 3G.
That thing is sassy.
It is sassy. This
It's
bad.
Adam Sessi.
It is Adam Sassy. This bad mamma jamma is their new entry into mobility.
Nice.
It's
Show the people the front, man.
It's 2.6 pounds.
I don't think that's the best
Or
portrayal of
2.7
the-
point. It's 2.7.6 pounds or something like that.
It's a lot of points.
The crazy thing about this. One, it's got always-on Wi-Fi, always-on 3G, so it's got built-in 3G.
Oh, so even if there's no Wi-Fi, you can still netbook it
Booyah!
up.
Yep. Booyah, yakasha, as it were. It's only $299 with a service through AT&T, and it's unbelievable. The battery life on this thing, and I've been using this for a little while, 12 hours of battery life
So this
is a phone.
is cheaper than an iPhone.
Could be.
This computer.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you have a plan. But I mean, if you're just.
I like this, right?
Hello?
So anyway, these things are going to be super sexy town. Let me just tell you my favorite thing when I first got this
Your
thing.
favorite thing.
It's got HDMI out.
Nice.
So you plug it into a TV.
You can plug it into
monitor?
a TV, plug it into a monitor, and all of a sudden you're watching TV on the internet.
Epic.
And 3G, so you're at a place that has no Wi-Fi, no cable, no phone.
still get on Hulu.
Booyah, and you can be
Or
watching TV.
Revision 3.
What up? You can
Heyo.
watch stream TRS
Heyo.
to your TV. So these things are amazing, and if you want more information, you can go to nokia.com/booklet3G. I think they're coming out October 22nd.
That's the past.
Then they're out. But that might not be true. We actually were one of the first people to even get our hands on these in the United States. So
Wow.
it's
I want to
been
put my hands on it.
There you go.
I'm a first person.
third person.
Ooh, that
Action
feels
adventure.
nice.
There
Feels
you go.
nice.
So check it out, nokia.com/booklet3G.
Also, I have to mention to you guys about GoDaddy. GoDaddy.com is a great place to get really cheap domain names. They have tons of hosting options. Really great customer service. We bought all our domains there, including totallyradshow.com. So head on over to GoDaddy.com or go to revision3.com/GoDaddy. And there's tons of promo codes there for you to use.
Amazing. Also, we're gonna
Potentially hazardous to your health.
It is potentially hazardous to your health. So just FYI, everybody. That's all I'm saying about that.
Oh, there's a new revision.
That's
Revision
right.
3 show,
That's right.
Instant Messages, or Instant Messengers, where Revision 3 goes out and has their team cull the internet for amazingly fun.
You just got an
message
instant
communications. That was really
That's
weird.
amazing.
Literally got an instant message as he was
I
talking
don't know
about.
if they heard it. Well, I'll put it in.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. Ex post facto. So they go out, they call the internet, Twitter streams, and IM chats that are available, and find the funniest stuff out there, and then mock recreate them.
It's like fourth kind.
It is like fourth kind of fun.
Actually, it's a more truthful fourth kind.
It is. So go to revision3.com/instant messengers. Which the URL's down here because I don't think it's spelled specifically like that.
No, it's
like
Web 2.8 style. No vowels.
INSTMRG, yeah.
Web 2.0 hates vowels.
Dude, vowels take time. Time is money. Web 2.0. So let's get to our email, shall we? Hey, Dan, Alex, Jeff, and Mike. Let me start by saying that I'm a 17-year-old high school student, and my favorite movies of all time are Woodstock, Pulp Fiction, and Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle. I listen to many film-related podcasts and consider myself somewhat of a movie buff, but listening to these podcasts, I find that I'm far behind in the cache of movies I've seen, and I often wonder whether I rate my favorite movies too high. Harold and Kumar, maybe? My question is,
Instead of wow.
when you were younger, did you have any favorite films that you look back on now and think to them to be childish? And do you have any favorite films from your youth that remain up there? Thank you for being awesome. Keep up the great work down, Dan Howell. Good question, Dan.
Yeah.
As you may not know, this gave Dan some agita trying to figure this out. So I'll go to Jeff first.
Click.
Jeff, what would you say are movies that maybe don't hold up that you loved as a child?
You know, thinking about this, it's interesting. I've often said that my trifecta of 3 favorite movies has remained the same for many years, and maybe it deserves revisiting, but it has always been Star Wars, Annie Hall, and My Dinner with Andre. And certainly Star Wars is there principally because it was that movie that I loved as a kid, and it will always be near and dear to my heart. So, in a sense, I mean, it gets that spot, and I can't ever shake it from that spot, even though it may end up being a little bit childish, but it's a love that I have. And of course, there's tons of movies when you're a kid that you love, but I never really made that list.
Yeah.
Until
You didn't have a favorite movie that you watched all the time when you were a kid?
I mean,
was your
when I was a
favorite
real
movie?
little kid, I watched
12.
I watched Ghostbusters over and over and over again. I watched Star Wars over and over again. There were these animated Shogun Warriors movies. I think I've mentioned on the show before that I used to watch over and over and over. Vanguard Ace and Starvengers, and there's so many of them. But
Interesting. Daniel, Plix?
and Plick.
I'm trying to think of what that L was, but I can say definitively that there was a years of my life devoted to renting over and over and over again Pirates of the Penzance, the Kevin Kline version in Angela Lansbury.
Amazing.
I mean, my mom, West Coast Video,
P of Plick.
yeah.
L.
Why?
Legend?
I know. I don't. Well, is that my L? Legend. Now that you bring that up, I mean, Legend. You guys don't know how devoted I was to Legend. I wrote.
Legend.
It must be Legend because I actually did revisit
Women.
that. Listen, Legend, guys. I wrote a sequel to it as an 11-year-old kid. And I read it recently.
Just got plicked.
It's not that good. I read it recently. It's basically Legend. Like I thought I was writing. It's what most sequels are. But I was addicted to Legend. Anyway, there was another year of my life devoted to Young Guns 2.
Wow.
I was a huge Emilio Estevez fan. Huge.
As were we all.
It was PG-13. The first one was R, so I'd only ever seen the second one, and I actually think it was the first Western I've ever seen.
Interesting.
So it was all very, and it was different than like watching my dad watch old John Wayne movies that were very clean, and this was the first very gruff and dirty and whatever,
Yeah.
and that John Bon Jovi song. But the one movie that I loved as a kid,
Karate
as a very young kid, that still holds true today, number K, the letter K, Karate Kid.
Yeah. I loved that movie too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all did.
It's kind of a perfect movie in my book, so there you have it.
Alex.
Wax on, my friend. Yeah, I mean, the hard thing is that, it's like when I was a kid, the movies that I really loved, Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark. I enjoyed Karate Kid. It was a little bit later for me, but I enjoyed Karate Kid. It's hard because those movies do hold up.
Yeah.
I mean, especially, I just saw Raiders of the Lost Ark again, and it's like, good God, man, that movie made back then was like
Timeless.
timeless. Thank you.
It's a classic. That's what you call a classic.
It's a classic. It's
Yes.
a classic. Now that said, there are some movies that I remember loving as a kid that I don't know if
Like what?
Remo Williams.
Oh, I still love that movie.
There's
Yeah.
something cool about that movie,
No,
still, but it's weird.
But the thing that's
weird.
cool about it is, I remember when this was like epic.
Yeah.
Like I wanted to run over cement. with
Oh
bare
man,
feet.
come on!
And the bottom line is-
Diving into a pile of sand on the side and coming out the top.
Yes.
Epic.
Exactly. When I was 12. Now I'm like, I see the edges.
Weekly.
I see the edges. Obviously, Last Dragon is another one where I see it again, and it just doesn't you know. Unfortunately, I think Last Starfighter is that way, if for no other reason than the CG.
I think just the special effects.
Yeah.
There's a lot to that movie that's
I agree,
very
but
classic.
holds up like Return of the Jedi or Revenge of the Lost Ark. Not so much.
Yeah.
So there are definitely those movies out there that you're gonna, you know, maybe Harold and Kumar will be that movie for you. I haven't seen that movie, so I'm sort of just blowing smoke.
There's something to that.
But anyway, hopefully that answers your question, Dan. If you'd like to have your question asked on the show, and by that I mean answered, you can send it to fans@totallyradshow.com.
Also send us backgrounds at
Correct.
fans@totallyradshow.com. You can download this background. You can download any of the backgrounds we've ever used at totallyradshow.com if you click on backgrounds. You can also get instructions as to how to send your backgrounds. And if you want to make us a themed background based on what we're going to talk about, a great way to know what we're going to talk about is to check out totallyradshow.com/blog, where we'll list every week, we'll list what will be coming up in the next episode, as well as you get to see some behind the scenes stuff that Mike is putting up there, which is really, really
Behind
cool.
the scenes stuff that Mike does, maybe I didn't appreciate how good Mike was at what he does, but, and I don't think that's true. I think I appreciated it.
Pretty much the only
But
reason he put it up there is like,
My
screw you,
God,
Alex.
some of the stuff that he does in those things, I'm like, why is he doing so much? It's amazing.
Not only
It's really
that, but
amazing
just
stuff.
the experience of watching
It's a learning tool.
He picks the perfect music, and it's like watching Bob Ross as a kid, where you even if you have nowhere near the skill to do this or even the interest, but you just sort of hit the zen moment where it's really enjoyable to watch.
It is. It's really cool.
all right, let's wrap this puppy up.
Also, if you'd like to get some TRS swag, maybe for the holidays that are coming up, a little Thanksgiving shirt. I don't know why I rubbed my arms. Head over to jinx.com/TRS. Well, that is it for this week's.
I should just mention real quickly,
Yes?
just to save Jeff from having to answer emails, and the people in the forums are going to be asking, where did Dan get that shirt? DutchSouthern.com.
Thank you.
Okay, amazing.
That just
Save
stomped
you
about 35 emails.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. That's it for this week's edition of the Totally Rad Show. I'm Alex Albright.
I'm Jeff Canada.
I'm Dan Trachtenberg.
Until next time, hasta luego, bitches.
Oh,
No,
fuck.
perfect. Don't worry about it. Don't
Wait, hold
even
on.
look. No,
I
come
got
on,
it because I
man.
had it the other week, and hold on.
Oh, is this the one from yesterday?
Is this one from the other week? I had a mnemonic that I was remembering things.
Funny. That's funny. That's funny. You had a mnemonic, dude.
The mnemonic is Plick.
It's Plick!
P-L-Y-K. I know what Y is, I know what P is.
It doesn't work if we don't remember what these
What is K and L?
What are we even talking about? It's the
Fourth kind.
Fourth kind.
Box.
box. Okay, yeah.
Trick-or-treat!